Hey guys, I'm Drago and I regret my life choices. Why I thought it was a good idea to make an art piece with 100 characters, I don't know. I guess I just had to torture myself. As a lot of you probably know, it is ARTFIGHT this month. And a few years ago in ARTFIGHT, I think it was 2020 I did it, I made another big attack of 100 characters. And I did have fun doing it. It was quite fun doing it. It was great seeing everyone's reactions to it. So off I went to browse ARTFIGHT, gathering characters from small little cardboard box dragons all the way to a massive sun demon in the sky. To do this art piece, it took me the whole 2 weeks between the last video and this video. And when I sort of tallied up all the recordings and how long each one is, if I were to sit down and have done it all in one session, it would have taken me 43 hours and 37 minutes. And oh my god, guys, I don't even like how it turned out. But hey, let me know down below how you think it turned out. Of course, you'll have to wait to the end of the video to see it. Anyways, because there is so much footage, this is going to be a longer speed paint. So let me know how you guys feel about these longer ones. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, of course, the first thing I needed to do here was do a big sketch. I made myself a huge canvas. This is about a 3000 by 5000 pixel canvas. And I decided to first sort of lay out the landscape. I wanted to go for a beach day theme, have these characters all on the beach. Because the last one I did was kind of just there in a random field. There was no really theme to it. They were just kind of, the characters were just there. In this one, I wanted it to be that there was actually something going on. Each character was there at the beach for a beach day. You know, there's a reason for them all to be there. So yeah, I chose a beach. How many times am I going to say beach? And then I started to add in some sort of like props and stuff. Started to think, you know, what could I add to make it a bit more interesting? I added a big wave because I had a character saved that was a surfer. I added a pirate ship because I had a few pirate and sailor characters saved. And then I added some more general beach day stuff. That being some sand castles and some beach mats with umbrellas. Oh, and let's not forget the palm trees. Just trying to make the environment a bit more interesting. And can't forget the rock pool. Everyone loves a good rock pool. Anyways, with the environment laid out, it was time to go on to sketching the characters. I decided to sketch them all first before going into any lining or colouring or shading or anything like that, because doing the sketch first meant I could adjust and move things around as I went without having to worry about doing that during the line art and just really slowing down that process. Now, as you could probably guess, none of these characters are my own characters. I'm going to have no time here to sit and list them all, or I'm going to have no room in the description to list them all. So what I'm going to do is, in the description, I will link the ARTFIGHT upload of this piece of art. If you go to that and then you scroll down, you will see a complete list of all the characters and who made the characters. So all the credit will be there. I just literally can't put it here on YouTube because the description has a character limit. I just won't have room. So yeah, go to the ARTFIGHT page and you will see all the characters and their owners listed. Anyway, sketching was my usual process. I did step out of my comfort zone here because I had characters that is sort of anatomy I wouldn't usually draw. I had anthropomorphic characters, so furry characters. Definitely not something I usually draw because I'm not really a furry. And I had humans, and if you know me, you know that I cannot draw humans to save my goddamn life. But I decided to just be really loose and free with it, you know. It's a lot of experimentation, it's a lot of learning. And on all of those ones that are sort of anthropomorphic and humans, I did sort of a base of like stick construction lines just to allow myself to get a general pose in before going straight into it. Because with quadruped animals, I'm so used to drawing them, I'm able to just go straight into it without any sort of base construction. But for the ones I'm not so used to, I had to do construction just to make sure everything was sort of correct proportions, correct sort of anatomy as much as I could possibly manage, stuff like that. So I'm going to be quiet now and just let you all watch the sketch, see all the different characters, and I hope you enjoyed this a little bit. 12 hours later and the sketch is finally done. The sketch alone took me days to do, but now I can finally move on to lining and colouring everything. I decided to start with the background because of the way I've layered everything. Now usually if I was doing a drawing that focused on one character, and that character was sort of partially behind a prop with part of it over the top of the prop, I would do different layers for the different parts of the body. So I'd sort of have the prop layer in the middle, and then the parts that are behind it I'd have below that, and the parts that are above it I'd have, you know, over the top of that. But here I can't really do that because there's just so many characters, so many layers, so many folders, that trying to arrange it like that would just be an absolute nightmare. So what I wanted to do, or what I really had to do, was where a character would be sort of partially hidden behind, say, a tree, like for this House Trained Dragon character, I would just have to trace over the line of the tree with the character layer so that the character is actually split in two on that layer. It's hard to explain, you'll see what I mean. But because of that, I went for lining the background first and colouring the background first as well. And then it was on to lining the colour in the characters. Now, at first, I was just going to line and flat colour every character because at that point in time, I didn't really know how to approach the shading of the piece. I mean, I knew I'd have to do some sort of overall shading to make everything sort of come together and not feel like things just photoshopped in randomly. But at the same time, each character would have to have their own separate shading, but I didn't know if I wanted to do that individually on individual layers or if I wanted to bunch that all into one layer. So I started with just generally lining and colouring, doing a little bit of texture texturing for ones that need it. Also, I found the scale texture that is absolute godsend. Like, oh my god, I've always wanted how to do scales, and it's an absolute, like, oh, it's heaven to have this texture. Dragons are going to be so much easier now, yes. Anyways, I didn't quite do the colouring and lining in the same order that I did the sketching of the characters, mostly just to keep myself interested in it. I didn't want to get bored and burn myself out, so I allowed myself to be more free with what characters I did and when. So like here, you'll see I jumped from the first 2 characters I drew up to the lifeguard character, who I actually sketched much later on. halfway through doing the pirate ship characters, I sort of decided that maybe I should actually go back and do the shading for each individual character. Because, like, if I did everything, all the colouring, and then I had to go back and do everything again, like go through every character again, I realised I would have no time to do that. That would take so long. And I cut finishing this piece close anyway. You know, 6 p.m. on a Friday is my upload day. I finished this piece yesterday on Wednesday, late on Wednesday, and then I'm here today recording this voiceover, and I need to edit and upload this before 6 p.m. on Friday. So you can see sort of how close it's been cut and how long that took me anyway. So imagine if I then finished the line and the colouring and then had to again go back through all of those characters to shade them again. It just was not going to work. So I decided if I'm going to go back and shade, now is the time to do it. I went back to the first few characters and I started shading them as well. Also, can we just appreciate how adorable Jerry is? Look at Jerry! He's such a little bean. He's so cute and I love him. Now, my usual shading style is to use overlay layers, but on a lot of these characters that had lighter colours, especially sort of white, I use shade layers instead, because shade will actually go over the top of white while overlay will not. Also, on some characters, the sort of more refined shading I do, which is when I get my line up brush and I'm just really sort of detailed with the shading, refining parts. Some characters I left that sharp, you know, kept the edges hard and sharp because it worked really well for them. Some characters I actually slightly blurred that and made it a bit softer, and this really depended on the character. Now, I couldn't tell you what my criteria was. It was just me looking at it and thinking, that works like this or that works like this, you know. I had a lot of different techniques going on in this piece depending on what characters I was doing. I mean, the little shark puppy is quite simple. I mean, the line is quite simple, the shading is quite simple, but the big dragon guy in the sky who's over the sun, he's really complicated. I made sure to put a lot into his line work because, you know, he's big, he's a big focal point of the piece, and I made sure to make him really detailed. Also, I'm sorry if you start seeing weird jumps in the recordings at this point. I was starting to get really tired of doing this already, and I was having to sort of get up and take a lot of breaks. And as a result, I would pause the recording and then come back and start drawing, but forget to play the recording again. So the recording would be paused, and then I've come back and started drawing again, and I forgot to unpause the recording, and it doesn't record what I've just done. And I didn't have time to like get rid of all that and redraw it for you guys. I know, I'm sorry. I wish I could have like undone what I did and then redone it for you guys to see, but unfortunately, there's just going to be parts that are missed out because I simply forgot to restart the recording, and I'm really sorry. It especially doesn't help that I have been so stressed out this week. In fact, the last few weeks I've been really stressed out. Essentially, I have a leopard gecko called Mojo. Here she is. She's an absolute cutie. Had her for a long time, good 6 years or so. And she has this protective cage over her heat bulb to stop her from, you know, getting onto the heat bulb and hurting herself. But somehow she managed to squeeze through the absolutely tiniest gap in existence and drop into the protective cage and decide to hug her heat bulb. And you can imagine the burns she ended up with doing this. Oh my god, she was so badly burned up. So one emergency vet trip later, and she's on pain meds, she's on cream, she's on anti-inflammatory, and the last 3 weeks or so we've been looking after her every day, twice a day, doing the cream, giving her the pain meds, and thankfully she is doing really, really well. She's had lots of vets checkups, she's doing really well, it's healing really well, but she did lose a few toes, and by a few I mean one of her back feet is completely missing the toes now, because the toes just got so damaged that the blood supply in them died and they just dropped off. And I can't believe that she managed to literally get her toes to come off. She's so stupid. Believe me, I have absolutely inspected that protective cage so much now. I have gone through great lengths to make sure every single tiny gap is completely filled in, that she can't get in there. Oh my god, it's been a crazy few weeks. But yeah, that's the story of how my leopard gecko Mojo has 0 brain cells. She's doing perfectly fine. We've been getting her to the vets, we're doing checkups. She's perfectly fine. It'll be a long process for her to heal, but she will be fine. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed my rambling. Do let me know if you'd like me to do more sort of anecdotal parts of the narration on these. Talk about, you know, stuff that's going on, just be more open with you guys. Maybe even do a story time series where I tell a story or an anecdote that's happened to me and I do a piece of art, you know, that relates to it, or just any art and I just talk over it. Let me know if you guys like that. But either way, I will now shut up, and I hope you guys enjoy this little chunk of the speed paint, or rather really long chunk because this took ages. It was at this point doing this character that I actually had such a scare. I finished for the day, it was like 9 p.m. My head was hurting, I just couldn't be on my computer anymore, so I decided to stop for the night. And I closed everything, pressed shut down on my computer, and a message popped up saying, "Are you sure you want to shut down? This program's still running." And I was like, "I swear I've closed everything." And it came up saying OBS, and I was like, oh no. I quickly cancelled the shutdown, went in, and OBS had completely crashed, and I hadn't saved the recording. And I was like, oh my god, because that was like 3 or 4 hours of work right there. But thank god OBS managed to save it. Basically, OBS will sort of write the file as it goes, so it almost saves as it goes, and it managed to save it up to the point of where the crash happened. A little bit of this clip did corrupt at the end. I think all that was lost was the shading for this character, but that could have been so much worse. It was such a fright. Oh, I'm so glad it was okay. Now guys, I have some very, very sad news. While making this piece, I found a character that I needed a bit more of a reference for. So I went back onto ARTFIGHT, went back through my bookmarks, and found a deleted character. It was Jerry. Jerry has been deleted off of ARTFIGHT. And as a result, poor little Jerry, he can't be in the piece. So back on ARTFIGHT, I went to find another little goober to replace Jerry with. Because unfortunately, if a character is deleted, then I can't include them in the list of characters on ARTFIGHT. And then it'll be a 99 character piece rather than a 100 character piece. So I went back on ARTFIGHT, I looked around for another little cute goober thing to replace him with. And I found this little guy, Omelette. He is a cardboard box dragon. I love him. Oh my god, I want him in my life. I want him as a pet. He's adorable. And I had to draw him. I had to include him. He is amazing. Oh, by the time I got here, I was absolutely dead. My hand was cramping, I was tired, my brain was frazzled. I still have a dent in my finger where my pen rests from doing all this. But after doing the final character, I was finally onto the last stage, and that was painting the background and doing a little bit of lighting, but mostly painting the background. So I started with the sky, very simple. I had a scatter brush I could use for the clouds and stuff. The water I found much more difficult, but again, I remembered I had a scatter brush for waves. And you guys may say, oh, using all these pre-made textures is cheating. And honestly, it would be nice to learn how to paint these things myself, but I've never been good at backgrounds. And when I'm this far into a piece, I mean, I was 42 hours into this at this point, according to this recording. And like, I couldn't do it. I didn't have the time, energy, or motivation to sit there and paint everything myself. If this was another piece where I had more time, I would paint those waves myself. But right now, I just needed this done. I had to get a reference of a big wave to sort of paint the surfing wave, just to make sure it's, you know, at least kind of 3D. Other than that, it was a lot of just randomness and just being very loose with it. A lot of it was using my watercolor brush, just sort of make textures of the wood and the leaves and the rocks. And then after that, it was just adding some general shading over everything. Trying to just bring the whole piece together, make it all, you know, consistent with each other. Make all the characters really feel like they are there and not just sort of pasted in. And finally, after all that, we were done. Sort of. I actually came back the next day, today, before doing this voiceover and edited it a little bit because I didn't like how it turned out. And I still don't really like it, but I think it definitely was better. I basically made the lighting a bit lighter, I did more sun rays. I think the beach was a bit too murky and muddy, I think that's why it didn't quite look right. But yeah, that bit wasn't recorded, sorry. This was such a difficult task I set myself. 100 fully detailed, pretty much all full body characters. Full colour, full detail, full shading, everything. It was such a challenge. But you know what? It was also really rewarding. Being able to upload it to ARTFIGHT and see everyone's reactions, it's great. I love it. I'm always happy to make other people happy. And yeah, I hope everyone who's included likes the piece. I will be uploading it on ARTFIGHT in conjunction with this video. Again, you can go in the description to have a look at it and see all the characters and the owners. And you can also find my ARTFIGHT profile in the description as well. So if you want to attack me, then go ahead. I'm on Team Stardust. I am a little bit busy for the rest of the month, but I will do my best to attack back, even if they're just simple attacks. But yeah, if you want to attack me, then feel free. Just know that I might not be able to attack you back. Anyways, guys, so let me know down in the comments what you think of this piece. Who on it is your favourite character, either based on design or how I drew them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, leave a like and maybe subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. And I will see all of you wonderful people in the next video. Bye!